If you have exactly $4,000 in your bank account, you are currently the most heavily targeted victim in the automotive industry. Dealerships and private sellers are actively hunting you. They know you are desperate for reliable transportation, so they are flooding the budget market with heavily abused, cosmetically clean death traps that are mathematically guaranteed to blow their transmissions within 30 days of purchase. If you make a mistake in this price bracket, you do not just lose a car. You lose your ability to get to work, and you face absolute financial devastation. The automotive marketing machine wants you to believe that a $4,000 budget forces you to buy a rusted-out Toyota Camry with 250,000 miles on the dashboard. They want you to pay a massive popularity tax for a badge that has already been exhausted. You do not have to be a victim of the system. I have audited the high-mileage global fleet data, verified the raw metallurgical schematics, and isolated 4 completely invisible, undocumented road tanks that the entire world ignores. These vehicles hide forged steel internals, heavy-duty engine sleeves, and unyielding hydraulic transmissions underneath ugly, forgotten badges. They will cross 500,000 miles effortlessly with nothing more than standard fluid maintenance. Let us get to work. Number 1. The over-engineered Japanese anomaly, the 1999 to 2002 Infiniti G20. If you reside in the United Kingdom or Australia, you are intimately familiar with this exact vehicle under the nameplate Nissan Primera, specifically the P11 chassis. In North America, the Infiniti G20 is completely invisible to the modern consumer. Because it lacks aggressive styling and modern technology, it fades entirely into the background of standard traffic. Furthermore, the modern buyer is terrified of the Nissan and Infiniti brands because of the catastrophic Jatco continuously variable transmissions that destroy their modern lineups. You must utilize the timeline of automotive engineering to bypass this fear. The Infiniti G20 was manufactured during the absolute peak of Japanese mechanical integrity, decades before the CVT transmission was implemented. The true value of this vehicle lies exclusively under the hood. The G20 is powered by the 2.0-liter SR20DE 4-cylinder engine. In the mechanical engineering sector, the SR20 is an undisputed heavyweight champion. It utilizes a high-strength aluminum engine block that is heavily reinforced with press-fit, heavy-duty steel cylinder sleeves. It is driven by a massive, industrial-grade timing chain that never requires replacement. This is the exact same foundational engine architecture that Nissan utilized in their high-performance sports cars, like the Silvia and the 180SX. But in the G20, it is completely naturally aspirated. There are no microscopic turbochargers generating excess heat. It is a highly overbuilt, drastically understressed motor operating at a fraction of its structural capacity. It is paired with an incredibly durable 4-speed automatic transmission or a flawless 5-speed manual gearbox. Because the mainstream market ignores the discontinued G20 badge, the depreciation is absolute. You can easily acquire a well-maintained, leather-equipped Infiniti G20 for under $4,000. It is a 500,000-mile commuter vehicle shielded entirely from the Toyota popularity tax. Number 2. The industrial subcompact, the 2000 to 2005 Toyota Echo. If you are watching from Australia or Europe, this exact vehicle is globally recognized as the first-generation Toyota Yaris, or the Toyota Vitz. In the North American market, the Toyota Echo was a massive commercial failure. American consumers despised the vehicle because it was incredibly narrow, exceptionally tall, and featured a highly unusual center-mounted instrument cluster on the dashboard. Because the aesthetic design was so widely rejected, the vehicle was discontinued and erased from public memory. Their focus on vanity is your ultimate financial advantage. Underneath the strange proportions of the Toyota Echo is one of the most reliable powertrains ever manufactured in human history. It is powered by the 1.5-liter 1NZ-FE 4-cylinder engine. This is the exact same bullet-resistant internal combustion engine that Toyota utilized in the legendary first-generation Prius. But in the Echo, there is no high-voltage hybrid battery pack to replace. It is pure, unyielding internal combustion. It features an aluminum block reinforced with heavy-duty cast iron cylinder liners, forged steel connecting rods, and a deeply proven timing chain. Because the entire vehicle weighs an astonishingly low 2,000 pounds, the engine is never subjected to heavy load or mechanical stress. This drastically extends the lifespan of the engine, the transmission, the brake pads, and the suspension components. The Toyota Echo easily achieves 35 to 40 miles per gallon on the highway. Because the mainstream buyer finds it physically unattractive, it completely escapes the massive price inflation that plagues the Toyota Corolla and Honda Civic. You can purchase an indestructible Japanese-built Toyota with exceptionally low operating costs for exactly $4,000. It is the ultimate pragmatic transportation appliance. Number 3, the Swedish cross-platform Volt. The 2004 to 2012 Volvo S40, specifically equipped with the 2.4-liter naturally aspirated engine. I am fully aware of the strict hesitations surrounding European sedans in the budget market. The consensus is that purchasing a cheap European car will subject you to staggering electrical failures and exorbitant parts costs. For heavily turbocharged BMWs and modern Mercedes-Benz vehicles, that assessment is entirely accurate. However, the second-generation Volvo S40 is the ultimate mechanical workaround. When Volvo designed this vehicle, they were owned by the Ford Motor Company. As a result, the S40 was engineered on the global Ford C1 architecture. This is the exact same underlying chassis utilized for the Mazda 3 and the Ford Focus. This means that the majority of the steering components, suspension parts, and brake hardware are globally abundant and incredibly cheap to replace, as you are essentially purchasing Mazda and Ford parts at any standard auto supplier. But you are not buying a Ford engine. You must strictly avoid the turbocharged T5 models. You are searching exclusively for the S40 equipped with a naturally aspirated 2.4-liter 5-cylinder engine known as the Volvo Whiteblock. The specific engine code is the B5244S. This is a purely mechanical, highly proven 5-cylinder engine designed for extreme longevity in harsh Scandinavian climates. It utilizes traditional multi-port fuel injection, meaning the intake valves are continuously washed with gasoline, entirely preventing the thick carbon accumulation that chokes modern direct-injected engines. You are acquiring Swedish safety engineering, incredibly comfortable seating, and a 500,000-mile engine block mounted on a highly affordable global chassis. Because the mainstream market fears the Volvo badge, you can purchase a structurally rigid, highly proven European sedan for under $4,000. Before I reveal the final car, we need to have a serious conversation about the transaction itself. Finding a mechanically sound vehicle is completely useless if the dealership successfully hides a $4,000 defect right under your nose. Dealerships have weaponized the buying process. They spend hundreds of dollars detailing the engine bay to look flawless, and they wipe the internal computer monitors clean just moments before you arrive. They expect you to kick the tires, take a smooth 10-minute test drive, and willingly sign away a chunk of your retirement savings. You have to level the playing field, and you do not need to pay a local shop $200 every single time you want to inspect a used car. I built the anti-scam vehicle blueprint to put the power permanently back into your hands. Inside, you will find the printable 5-page master field inspection checklist. I want you to print this document, attach it to a hard clipboard. When you walk onto the lot, do not argue with the salesman. Just pull out the clipboard and systematically run the 30-second oil cap pressure test and the OBD2 permanent code verification. When a car salesman sees a grown man operating off a documented, authoritative mechanical checklist, the entire power dynamic instantly shifts. The high-pressure tactics disappear, and the asking price drops because they know they cannot lie to you. A hidden transmission failure will drain $4,000 from your fixed income in a single afternoon. This manual is exactly $47. It is a one-time investment that pays for itself the very first time you use it to negotiate a price down or walk away from a lemon. Point your smartphone camera at the QR code on the screen right now, or click the link at the very top of the description. Secure your copy, print the checklist, and take absolute control of your next vehicle purchase. Let us return to the list. Number 4, the commercial-grade pushrod V6. The 2000 to 2005 Chevrolet Impala equipped with a 3.8-liter V6. If you are watching from Australia, you are intimately familiar with this exact powertrain, as it was heavily utilized in the Holden Commodore VT through VY series. In North America, the early 2000s Chevrolet Impala is entirely ignored by the modern consumer. The exterior styling is generic, and the interior utilizes basic hard plastics. It is the definition of an invisible commuter car. Because it lacks modern vanity features and aggressive styling, the market demand is non-existent, driving the purchase price down to $3,000 or $4,000. However, you must exercise strict discipline when evaluating the engine options. You must entirely avoid the 3.4-liter engine. You are searching exclusively for the Impala equipped with the 3.8-liter V6, specifically the L36 block code, universally recognized as the GM 3800 Series 2. In the history of American automotive manufacturing, the 3800 Series 2 is a highly documented benchmark of absolute durability. It is an old-school overhead valve pushrod engine. Both the engine block and the cylinder heads are manufactured from heavy-duty cast iron. It does not utilize complex overhead camshafts. It does not utilize fragile variable valve timing phasers. It is a pure, low-revving, torque-heavy iron block that was engineered to operate in brutal commercial fleet environments and police interceptor units. General Motors paired this cast iron engine with the 4T65E 4-speed automatic transmission. This is a traditional, hydrologically controlled transaxle that has been rigorously proven across millions of global fleet miles. Every single alternator, water pump, and ignition coil for this powertrain is globally abundant and can be purchased for absolute pennies at any standard auto parts supplier. You are purchasing a commercial-grade cast iron powertrain wrapped in a generic, highly depreciated sedan body. It is an unyielding transportation appliance that will easily cross 500,000 miles with nothing more than routine fluid maintenance. You are not required to absorb $40,000 of high-interest automotive debt to secure safe, reliable transportation. The automotive industry relies entirely on your fear of mechanical failure to force you into long-term financing contracts that systematically drain your fixed income. The steel-sleeved Infiniti G20, the unstressed Toyota Echo, the cross-platform Volvo S40, and the cast-iron Chevrolet Impala are documented proof that robust industrial-grade engineering is readily available on the budget market. If you ignore the mainstream marketing, bypass the popularity tax, and focus strictly on the raw engine block and transmission specifications, you can secure a vehicle that will outlast the fragile, over-computerized cars being sold today.